North Grafton Elementary, Miss Flynn here, and I am going to read to you today one of our school favorites, A Fine, Fine School by Sharon Creech, pictures by Harry Bliss. Mr. Keene was a principal who loved his school. Every morning he strolled down the hallway and saw the children in their classrooms. He saw them learning shapes and colors and numbers and letters. He saw them reading and writing and drawing and painting. He saw them making dinosaurs and forts and pyramids. "Oh," he would say, "aren't these fine children? Aren't these fine teachers? Isn't this a fine, fine school?" Near Mr. Keene's school, Tilly lived with her parents and her brother and her dog, Beans, in a small house next to a big tree. On Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, Tilly went off to school. At school, Tilly learned her shapes and colors and numbers and letters. Sometimes, when she saw Mr. Keene standing in the hallway, he'd wave. "Aren't these fine children?" he'd said to himself. "Aren't these fine teachers? Isn't this a fine, fine school?" On the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, Tilly climbed her favorite tree. At one point, she gets stuck. And she takes Beans on a walk and throws him sticks. There. And she pushed her brother on a swing and tried to teach him how to skip. Down at the bottom there. But on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, Tilly went off to school. Beans and her brother did not like to see her go. "Hurry, hurry home," her brother called. One day, Mr. Keene called all the students and teachers together and said, "This is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school on Saturdays too." The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Saturdays, but no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that. He was so proud of the students and teachers and all of the learning they were doing every day. And so, that Saturday, Tilly set off for school. "But it's Saturday. What about the swings?" her brother cried. The following month, Mr. Keene announced, "This is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school on Sundays too." The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Sundays, but no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that. He was so proud of the children and teachers and of all the learning they were doing every day. And so that Sunday, Tilly set off for school. "But it's Sunday. What about skipping?" her brother called. The following month, Mr. Keene called everyone together and once again said, "This is a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school on holidays too. On Easter and Ramadan and Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah, on all the holidays on the calendar." The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on holidays, but no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that. He was so proud of the children and all the learning they were doing every day. And so on Christmas, Tilly set off for school. "But it's Christmas. What about Christmas?" her brother called. The following month, Mr. Keene called everyone together. "This is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school in summer too. All summer long, every single day." How much we will learn, he said. We can learn everything. We can learn all about numbers and letters, colors and shapes, the Romans, the Egyptians, the Greeks. We will learn every dinosaur and castle and everything. We will learn everything. The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Saturdays and Sundays and holidays and all summer long every single day, but no one knew how to tell Mr. Keen that. He was so proud of the children and of the teachers and of all the learning they were doing every day. And so on the first day of summer, Tilly set off for school. But it's summer. What about summer? Her brother called. Look, he's in the pool. Come back, he's saying to Tilly, come back. And that day, Tilly went to see Mr. Keen. She stood in his office in front of his desk. What a fine, fine school this is, Mr. Keen said. What amazing things everyone is learning. Yes, Tilly said. We certainly are learning some amazing things. A fine, fine school, Mr. Keen said. But, Tilly said, not everyone is learning. How do you think Mr. Keen is going to respond? What's your prediction? What? Mr. Keen said. He looked so worried. Who? Who isn't learning? Tell me, and I will see that they learn. My dog Beans hasn't learned how to sit, Tilly said. And he hasn't learned how to jump over the creek. Oh, said Mr. Keen. And my little brother, he hasn't learned how to skip or swing. Oh, said Mr. Keen. And I, she said. But you go to school, Mr. Keen said, to our fine, fine school. True, Tilly said, but I haven't learned how to climb very high in my tree. And I haven't learned how to sit in my tree for a whole hour. Oh, Mr. Keen said. That day, Mr. Keen walked up and down the halls, looking at the children and at the teachers. Up and down he walked, up and down. The next morning, Mr. Keen called everyone together. The children and the teachers were very worried. Mr. Keen said, "This is a fine, fine school with fine, fine children and fine, fine teachers. But not everyone is learning." The children and the teachers were so very worried. There he is, talking to everyone. Mr. Keen said, "The dogs who need to learn how to sit and jump into creek, they need to learn." What did he mean? Was he going to make all dogs come to school too? There are little brothers and little sisters who need to learn how to swing and how to skip. What did he mean? Was he going to make their younger brothers and sisters come to school too? The children and the teachers were very, very worried. And you, all of you, children and teachers, you need to learn how to climb a tree and sit in it for 1 hour, Mr. Keen said. And the children and the teachers were so worried. And so from now on, we will not have school on Saturdays and Sundays, or on holidays, or in the summer. A huge, enormous, roaring cheer soared up to the ceiling and floated out of the window so that everyone in town heard the fine, fine children and teachers shouting, "Fine, fine, fine." And the fine, fine children and the fine, fine teachers lifted Mr. Keene up and carried him down the hallway and out the doors and through the town, up and down, in and out. And everywhere they went, the people said, "What a fine, fine school, with such fine, fine teachers, fine, fine children, and a fine, fine principal." And that is the end of our story for today. I hope that while you are home at this time, you are using some of your time to learn how to teach your dog or your pet a trick, and maybe how to climb a tree or ride a bike or just enjoy some time outside. We'll see you soon, friends. Bye.